This tutorial is for Week 11 group assignment solving equations. This is for tab 2, rental cars. Number 1, understand the problem. Ace Rentals charges $22 per day plus 15 cents per mile to rent a basic car. Zippy Cars charges $19 per day plus 30 cents per mile to rent the same car. If you plan to rent the car for one day, how many miles will have to be driven for the cost of a car from Ace Rentals to equal the cost of a car from Zippy Cars? Step 2. I'm going to allow your group to identify variables and assumptions through this problem. But step 3 we can go ahead and work on together, as I have changed the numbers for my project from yours. The first thing we want to do is identify that we have two things, Ace and Zippy. To go down a line here in this box, I'm going to press Alt, Enter. On a Mac, you press Option and Enter. So I have Ace and Zippy. The first one for Ace is that they tell me it is $22 per day, $22 times days, and then in addition to that, 15 cents, making sure to make that a decimal of 0.15 cents per mile. So I'm going to multiply that by miles, will equal our total cost. For Zippy, they've told us that the Zippy car charge is $19, so $19 per day, and then add 30 cents, 0.30 per mile, or multiplied by miles, not milk, equals the total. There's one thing they did tell us, is that we're only going to be renting these cars for one day. So I can substitute this already with a 1. 1 times 22 is just 22. Same with this one. It's just 1. So I can put that here. Actually, I'm just going to rewrite that so that we can see our variables. So we're going to do our total, and so because we're using x's and y's, I'm going to go ahead and do y equals, and then 22, and leave it without anything because the day was 1, and then add the 15 cents per mile, and I'm going to use x just so that we stay consistent with the variables that are used in the textbook and other problems. Same thing on Zippy. We'll do y equals 19 plus 0.3, and we can put the 0 on there as well, x. The next thing it's asked us is if we rent these for one day, how many miles will have to be driven for the cost of a car from Ace to equal the cost of a car from Zippy? So we're going to take these two equations right here and set them equal to each other. So we'll have, I'm going to press Alt, Enter, 22 plus 0.15x equals 19 plus 0.3 or 0.30x. And then we just solve for x here. So let's see, let's subtract 0.15 from both sides, minus 0.15x minus 0.15x, and then on the left hand side these are canceled out, Alt Enter, and I have 22 equals, in fact let's move that over so that the equal signs line up. That helps us see things. There we go. And then on this side we still have the 19, and 0.3 or 30x minus 0.15x gives me 0.15x. And then I'm kind of running out of room, so I'm going to come do some of this over. I'm just going to press Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and just come over here and finish it up. Okay, so on the left hand side I have 22. On the right hand side I still have this 19, so I need to move him over. So we're going to subtract 19 from both sides. And then on the right hand side the 19s cancel out. Then 22 minus 19 gives me 3. 3 equals 0.15x, and then to solve for the x here, we're going to just divide both of these by 0.15, divide the left hand side by 0.15, and then, oops, sorry, I forgot to put a divide sign. There we go. And then on the right hand side, 0.15 divided by 0.15 is 1. 1 times x is just x. And 3 divided by 0.15 gives me 20 equals x. There we go. Now, do you remember what x represents? We're going to come over here and see in our equation, we replaced miles with x. So this tells me at 20 miles, these two companies, the cost will be the exact same. So I'm going to come over here, and down here I'm going to put 20 miles. I don't know why I keep typing milk. Miles. And then we need to continue with that. So I'm going to press Alt Enter. I'm going to take this 20 miles and put it into one. Actually, let's put it into both equations. So here, instead of doing this all by hand, I'm going to copy Control C, the first equation, and then Control V, paste it in here, and replace this x with times 20. And press enter, and it gave me 25. To verify that this is indeed the answer for both of these, I'm going to copy and paste it here for the second equation, and again replace that x with times 20. Excellent. That does indeed show us that 25, and that's 25 what? 25, that's the total. So $25 at the end of the day. So well, 25 total for the end of the 20 miles where these two are equal. Now we can go back and see in here if I do more or less miles, what does that mean for the cost of each of these, and see which one is the better deal if I go more miles versus less miles. And that would be something to take into account in the next part over in number 4 right here. So and to do that, you would simply just take these two equations and change the x, and so we could go to 21 or 22 miles and see what that does for the cost of each of these. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's do, I don't know, 22 miles, and we have to change it on both of those, 22 miles, and that tells me that it's going to cost a little bit more here. If we want to make that number more dramatic, we can even go higher. Let's go 30 miles and make sure we change it on this one to compare those. And you can see that Zippy will be more money the more miles we go. Let's try less miles. Let's go 10 miles. And again, change it on both of these, 10 miles. And that now it's less money the fewer miles. So this ends up being the better deal. The fewer miles we go, this one ends up being the better deal the more miles we go. And that will help us answer the questions in number 4. And again, as I've changed all of my numbers, that from the beginning, your numbers will be different, and that might change things with ACE and Zippy. So I hope that helps with tab number 2.